and welcome back to another video. I'm joined today with a special guest, which is Danny Becker.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries, thank you for doing this. Would you just like to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure, yeah, I'm an actor. I live in London. I've been lucky enough to be part of a few West End shows. I'm sure we might discuss a few today. Yeah.
Great. So I asked my Instagram followers just to give you a few questions. So let's get started. So the first one is, what is the best role you have played?
That's a really hard question. Um, because I love all the roles for different reasons. If I had to pick one, I would maybe say I understudied a role called Fabrizio in Light in the Piazza now 2 years ago, I think, with this pandemic. And that was a really amazing role. I had so much fun. I don't know if you know, it's set in Italian. It's set in Italy, and I was playing this Italian character or understudying, and I got an opportunity to do some of the rehearsals. Yeah, and that was just a great experience. So I have to say Fabrizio, I think.
Great. So obviously, before COVID decides to shut the whole world down, you was in the Prince of Egypt at the Dominion. So what is the best part about being in that show?
Oh, I would say the people. I think the people are always the thing that is the best part of any anything we do, and it's amazing because you get to work with such great, creative, inspiring, fun people, and it's that backstage community and that family vibe that I love so much. So yeah, I'd say the cast, I miss them a lot. Um, and then also it's just being part of an epic new West End show.
Mhm.
It's such an exciting thing to be part of, and something that it was my first big original West End cast. So yeah, I that was also an amazing part of it, getting to create it for the first time.
Yeah. So do you cover any roles in that show?
I do, yeah. I cover Moses, which is he's kind of the leading man, and then I cover a slightly smaller role, Aaron, as well. So I have two understudies.
You only managed to get about, I think it's like 3 weeks worth of shows, obviously before all this madness happened. Did you actually get to go on for any of them roles?
I didn't know
So
we
you
were
so you yet to make your debut then?
yet to make my debut in those roles. Yeah, but I think if we were going to stay open much past when we did, I probably would have been on that week, I reckon, because people were getting ill a lot around that time. So yeah, not yet, but probably soon after we get back.
So still on the subject of the Prince of Egypt, what is your favourite number to perform?
In Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
I think I would have to say it's called Simcha, and it's in Act Two, and it's this big celebration the Hebrews have when they are told Moses tells them that they're going to be freed. The Pharaoh's going to free them, and it's this big celebratory number with the whole company. The dancers, because there's a separate dance ensemble and singing ensemble. We kind of all intermingle, but it's this with all of us together, and we're all kind of dancing and cheering each other on. And yeah, I that's my favorite. So much fun.
So during like this whole lockdown situation, Lambert Jackson Productions put on the last 5 years, and you played Jamie in that. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't play Kathy, that's for sure. Not in this one. Yeah, I played Jamie.
And so, what was it like to be a part of that, but like being like in it virtually?
It was amazing. It was an incredible opportunity to be given in these times, and one that I'm still so grateful for. and it was also kind of my first like lead, really. I'd done leads and other things like regional things, but like it was my first kind of London lead, really, even though it wasn't actually put on, but the amount of press it got and all of that, it was kind of weird to have that experience in a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? But it was amazing, and it was a big learning curve because obviously we had to be our own cameramen, and we had to be our own lighting people and set designers and costume people. We had to do everything that's normally done for you, and all you need to focus on is the acting. So it was challenging because of all those aspects, but it was incredibly rewarding when we saw it all come together and how beautifully it was edited. And Lauren Samuels, who played Kathy and also directed me, did such a great job with putting her vision together. And then it got such a great response online and from the public and whoever watched it. So yeah, we were incredibly proud, and to be one of the first people to do something like that in this time. Then since then, I know a lot of similar things have come out of it, and a lot of streamed productions, which is absolutely fantastic. So it was kind of scary being one of the first, but incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, and it was also such a good way to obviously like keep theatre alive, even though it's like being done virtually. Like it's just one of those things that like a lot of theatre goers would have been grateful for, because it's just giving you that some sort of theatre.
Experience, yeah, exactly. And I think people were just so happy to see something
Mm.
at that time. They were just so happy. So that was amazing, and I hope what we did was good, and I'm proud of it when I look back. Yeah.
So another show that you've been in was Aladdin. So what would you say your favourite memory is from Aladdin?
Oh gosh, what a question. Yeah, I was in Aladdin for 2 years in the West End, and that was my West End debut in that job. So it was a huge job for me in many ways, but also I understudied the role of Aladdin. So it was a lot. It was my debut. It was, living my dreams that I've wanted for as long as I remember. And then on top of that, getting to go on for Aladdin from time to time was just, it was amazing. But if I could pick one memory, it would probably be going on for Aladdin for the first time, um, and having my parents there and my friends and some family and extended family, and they all came down to my dressing room after the show. And when you're playing Aladdin, you're in the biggest dressing room in the theater, and to have that experience of stepping into the shoes of that role, getting to be that, and then having your parents there to experience all of that with you and your friends. It was one of those milestone moments
Mm.
before that moment and then after that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that that day was very, very special to me.
So besides Aladdin, did you cover anyone else in that show?
No, so I had my ensemble track that I did all the time, 8 shows a week, and then um, yeah, and then I stepped into Aladdin when he needed that. But that was it. Yeah, that was enough responsibility in that show at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine, because playing a title role is a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely, and that role he's the biggest role in that show. Obviously,
Mm.
he barely leaves the stage. It's demanding in every physically, vocally, stamina wise, technically. You're jumping off of buildings and flying carpets, and it's a beast of a role with lots of lines. So it's a lot to maintain all that information, because if you're in the wrong spot, a piece of set could fall on you, or you drop a line. You have hundreds of lines, you drop one line and it throws the whole story. So yeah, for roles like that, you have to be so on it. So yeah, I was happy to be like, great, I'll take that, and I'll do as well as I can with that, and that was enough. Yeah.
So the next question is, if you could go back to any of your previous jobs, which one would it be and why?
Ooh, what a question. Um, well, obviously Prince of Egypt when we go back, but that's a bit of a cop out because I'm still part of that production. But I would probably say um, I would love to do like in the piazza again because we got to do that in London for a little bit, and then we got to do it in LA for a little bit, which was incredible. But it was only short runs, and I just loved that show. I love the music, I love the people, um, and yeah, if there was opportunities to do that again somewhere else in the world, that would be amazing.
So the next question is, what is your dream role?
Ooh, um, oh, that's really hard. You're giving me some hard questions today. I would actually say to originate a role,
Mm.
to originate a brand new role, that would be a dream. Um, but if I had to take on a role that was already out there, I don't know. There are so many roles I want to do when I'm older. Um, I would love to carry on the Jason Brown train of things that I've done. I would love to play Leo Frank in Parade. He's another, or like I'd love to do like Phantom or some of those iconic roles.
Mm.
Yeah, but above and beyond, I'd love to originate something. I think that would be amazing.
So the next question is, if all the characters you have played met in person, what do you think would happen?
Um, oh, I'm trying to picture that. So we got Aladdin. Are we talking about ones that I've understudied as well? That I've got.
Yes. Any role that you've ever played.
Okay. Oh gosh. So yeah, Aladdin. You've got Don Loughlin singing the rain. That would be funny. Um, Fabrizio. um, Jamie from Last Soviet. Oh God, I have no idea. I can't even picture it. I don't know. I wonder if I mean they're all from different eras, so that would be interesting
Mm.
because they're all from different times in in life. But I think they would get along. They're all kind of hopeless romantics at heart, so they probably just bond over that. But yeah, I'm sure they'd all get along. I'd have to
Maybe,
think about that more, I think.
maybe Aladdin doing a bit of stealing here and there.
I did think that, but then by the end, it depends when we meet Aladdin. Do we meet him as a street rat or as a prince? So has he learned his lesson at that point? If it was pre-prince, yeah, he'd probably steal something from someone.
So the next question is, do you have any pre-show rituals?
Um, I don't like getting too into that because sometimes when you don't do something, you can think, oh gosh, I'll have a terrible show. I'm going to muck up. So I'm not too superstitious when it comes to that because I think it can sometimes mess with your brain and you can get a bit crazy over those things and get a bit OCD. But I do obviously do a good physical warm up, a good vocal warm up. I would say that's a ritual in itself. Obviously, you have to really do that as part of the job, but it's quite a nice thing just to get the company together, get your brain in gear for the show, get your voice and body warmed up, which is so important. But yeah, I would say that's the main thing. Maybe when I play certain roles, I go over certain parts of the singing if there's like a really hard bit vocally or fast script, maybe I would just run that before I go on or something like that. But that would be role dependent. But yeah, not really. I don't like to get too into that superstition stuff.
So the next question is, what made you want to get into musical theatre?
Oh, great question. I've honestly wanted to do this as long as I can remember. I've, been a theatre geek my whole life. I was lucky enough to have parents that took me to the theatre when I was younger.
Mm.
Um, so I would go every year for my birthday. So I think it was probably getting to see it,
Mm.
and and I would just admire these performers so much. I used to go to the stage door. I used to ask some questions when I could. I really just looked up to these West End performers that I was lucky enough to see every now and then. So I think it was that, getting to go to the theatre and listening to the cast recordings. Yeah, it's so important, and I feel very lucky that I could do that, because I know a lot of people don't have access to theatre, or it's too expensive, or there's so many barriers, it's really terrible. And I hope that can change. But yeah, that was probably the thing that got me into it, is just going to the theatre and feeling inspired, really.
Yeah. So the next question is, which of the characters that you have played would you say has a similar personality to you?
Ooh, similar personality. Um, I don't know, to be honest. I think there's elements of all of them that I think you bring an element to yourself to every character,
Mm.
if that makes sense. Like, obviously you're playing different people all the time, but you do bring yourself to it, and your own some of your own things. You can't help it, really, I think. Um, so I think there's similarities in what I've brought to the roles. Maybe maybe they become quite empathetic sometimes, and that's similar to me. And um, yeah, a lot of them are all these kind of love scenes, which is funny. So yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if there are any specific personality traits, to be honest. Um, yeah, but I think I just bring myself to it. I don't know if that's answered it.
So the next question is, what advice would you give to people who want to get into musical theatre?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say train as much as you can. You don't have to go to formal drama school. There are other ways in, but I'd say the easiest way and the most traditional way is going to a drama school, and really training hard, and get as much as you can from all your teachers, and really fill your toolbox up. They say you have like a toolbox of skills, toolbox. Um, I don't know and yeah, just work as hard as you can and try and be the best you can be, because the competition is there's so much competition out there, and you will be the best you can be with good training,
Mm.
and a lot of hard work. And then after that, once you've done all that hard work, basically don't stop doing it, because you can always continue to learn, and you can always continue to train. And then you need to also believe in yourself. And that's the really hard thing, to work on, as well as your skills of actually singing, dancing, and acting. It's combining that with confidence, self-confidence, self-esteem, which can be, the hardest thing to work on out of all of it. You could be an incredible singer and actor, and then you can have no confidence, and that combination doesn't always get you to where you want to be. So yeah, I would say work on yourself as much as you can. Keep inspired, keep inspiring yourself, surround yourself with people that believe in you. I think that's really important. And yeah, you can do anything you want. Never forget that you can do anything you put your mind to. So you have to cling on to that hope.
Great advice there. So the next question is, how have you been remaining stagey during lockdown?
Stagey.
Yeah.
Every day I remain stagey. That's just
Same,
me.
to be honest.
That's just me waking up. Ask my friends, trust me. But I would say listening to, I love a YouTube binge. So I will binge performances of performers I love, and watch bootlegs that shouldn't be out there and things like that, so I can keep my inspiration alive. What I was saying about keep inspired. I always think, if I do a 2-hour YouTube binge and it's all performing art, performing stuff, I'm like, well, that's not me just binging away. That's actually research, and that's keeping inspired. So I would say that, and also I love a good podcast.
Mm.
Love, love, love. And there are so many theatre podcasts out there now. Literally, it's like every other day I hear about a new one that I have to follow. So lots of stagey podcasts and lots of YouTube binges.
So getting onto the subject of bootlegs now, have you ever found any of yourself?
um, I've been sent stuff of myself for sure. Um, and then subsequently I put them out on my social media. But I don't think I've ever just randomly come across something. Um, there's been some concerts and stuff that is out there that I'm like, oh, I don't, when you don't really approve it, and then you just see something, it can be quite scary, and you're like, oh, is that okay? And then you check it, and it's like, okay, well, fine. So yeah, not too much, but I have been sent quite a bit in the past.
So a question that I've been asking quite a few people is, what is your opinion on stunt casting? If you know what
Oh.
it is.
As in, like celebrity casting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it's absolutely valid, and it can be amazing. It can be absolutely amazing when it's used correctly. Um, yeah, because you can get an incredible performer that happens to have a lot of pull in other areas that can get bums on seats, and that, at the end of the day, for producers, for the longevity of the show, for the marketing, that's really important. And then they can serve the role and be excellent in it, and that's happened loads. Where I don't think it's as good is when the person isn't necessarily right for the role,
Mm.
or has the skill for the role, or has the skill to maintain 8 shows a week. Um, and that, and they purely just get a random celebrity and just put bums on seats. That's where I think I don't think that's good, and it doesn't really sit well with me. And I understand why they still do it. I totally get it. And if that person wasn't in the show, then the rest of the cast might not have work.
Mm.
So as a machine and as a business, I completely get it and I respect it. But I would much prefer if, when they do that, they actually consider the talent. And if the person has the talent and the training and the dedication um, to deal with it, then absolutely incredible. But yeah, I think a lot of people probably share that view.
Yeah.
When you go to the show and you've trained your whole life and then someone can't deliver, it's it doesn't serve the show, it doesn't serve the art form.
Like, a lot of people had a very strong dislike to Cameron Dallas being Aaron in Mean Girls. I don't know if you heard about that, but he did a 4 week stunt cast of Aaron in Mean Girls, and he's never ever trained in musical theatre. They mainly just got him in for the name and to sell tickets, and apparently a lot of people just disliked him in that role.
Right. Oh, I don't know about that scenario, so I couldn't comment, but
Mm.
yeah. But I'm sure, as much as people might not like them, then, the fans that they hopefully bring in themselves will hopefully like them, So I'm sure there's always two sides of each coin, performers and true thespians will always probably dislike that. But the general public might love it. And if those are the people that are keeping the shows alive, then it's just a balance. I think it's all about balance and striking the right balance when it comes to those things.
So the next question is, what is your favorite movie musical?
Mm. Ooh, what is my favorite movie musical? Um, what was I thinking? Um, Maybe the first thing I thought of was Greatest Showman. I know that's just I can't really think. And then I thought High School Musical. I can't say that. I loved that as a kid. I don't know, probably something like Mary Poppins I used to love. Um, yeah, oh my gosh. Or Singing in the Rain. Let's say Singing in the Rain. And I also played Don Lockwood a few years ago, so I have a special love for that show, that film.
So the next question is, what is the most embarrassing thing to ever happen to you on stage?
Oh, I have a long list. I can't think of the most. I could pick many. The most embarrassing, probably. I was gonna say I'm not gonna embarrass myself too much. I was gonna tell you something else, but I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you a story that when I had a nosebleed in the middle of a big dance number in Aladdin when I was on for Aladdin. Um, and that wasn't nice for me, for my fellow cast, for the audience. I think they noticed, yeah. And I had a nosebleed mid number, and luckily a lovely ensemble member managed to give me a tissue, and every time I could, I would turn up stage and dab my nose and then stuff it down my harem pants and then carry on with the number. And by the time the number had finished, thank God the nosebleed had stopped. But the rest of the show was just kind of checking if I had the nosebleed. So it was very distracting. And I was trying to be Aladdin, trying to fall in love with Jasmine in that very moment. It was the moment when they meet in slow motion in the show, the first time they meet. And I was literally covered in sweat. My nose is bleeding. I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to carry on? And I was meant to just like fall in love with her in slow motion. So that was a moment I'll never forget. Yeah.
So the next question is, do you have any behind the scenes stories that you can share or want to share?
Oh, behind the scenes. Um, what kind of thing?
Anything really, like anything that's gone on behind the stage, anything really.
Um,
Memories.
a story comes to mind when I've spoken about this quite a lot, but the first time I went on for Aladdin that day, this is a little behind the scenes story of how I found out. I was actually in rehearsals with the company. We were rehearsing Friend Like Me at Pineapple Dance Studios in London, where I actually teach my own dance class as well. I didn't mention that before. Um, but we were in rehearsals. We were rehearsing in the new cast actually for the cast change, and our company manager stopped the whole rehearsal and kind of announced in front of the whole new cast and my resident directors and everything. Danny Becker, do you want to play Aladdin tonight? And it was so amazing because normally those moments, you're on your own in your flat or going into work, and it was so lovely that this whole cast was around me and everyone was screaming. And then I remember him escorting me to the theatre, and it was raining out, and he kind of had an umbrella for me, and it was a really special moment because I got to share it with all those people, which is very rare. Yeah.
So the final question is one that I'm asking everyone since like the announcement was made. How do you feel now that Boris has finally mentioned theatres and that they can reopen in May?
Thrilled, absolutely thrilled. Yeah, I can't wait for the industry to get back up. running and thriving and art to get going and inspiring, and my fellow performers to be back in work and myself to be in work, and the whole lives to get back to normal, because it really has been pause. The hustle that normally goes with being an actor has been completely gone.
Yeah.
You're normally constantly auditioning and got gigs and this and that. So I'm absolutely thrilled that that whole machine can start up again. And yeah, I hope it all happens as planned, because hopefully I'll be getting back on stage in the West End very soon as well.
Have you actually got a date for when the Prince of Egypt can reopen?
Yeah, we do. There is a date that has been announced by the show, and that is the 1st of July.
I bet
So
you. I bet when you found that out, it was just like jumping for joy.
yeah, exactly. And we've had a lot of kind of near misses with when we were going to be back. So this is very exciting, and it will be just in time for my birthday as well, which is in July. So
Mhm.
I hopefully will be able to celebrate with my cast.
One thing that I've always wanted to know is you see like Instagram stories of when it's someone's birthday and they've got like that little birthday song at the end. Is that a theatre thing where it just goes, "It's your birthday song. It is a very is that like a theatre thing or?"
I don't know. Oh, you've seen if it was someone's birthday in a cast and they're celebrating it for a show, they sing that after warm up or something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's something that seems to happen. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. I will ask someone next time it happens. I just thought it was a thing that some people do. I don't know necessarily if it's a theatre thing, but maybe it is. I'll get back to you on that one.
So we've just got a quick fire round just to finish things off.
Great.
So favorite musical,
Wicked.
plays or musicals,
Musicals.
show you want to see after lockdown.
Um, Shows I want to see. What didn't I get to see? I didn't get to see Pretty Woman. I don't know if it's going to be back, but I'd quite like to see that. I didn't get to... And Jamie, because a friend of mine's in it and I want to see her. So, yeah.
West End or Broadway.
Broadway.
Favorite theatre you've performed in.
Um, I think the Prince Edward. I love that theatre.
Um, show you want to see revived.
Um, oh, what do I want to see revived? Um, I'd say maybe Spring Awakening. Not that I could probably be in it now, but I was obsessed with that show as a kid.
And the final one that caused the debate is Cereal Soup.
Is cereal soup? No.
A lot of people have said no, and a couple of people actually said yeah.
Interesting.
So I
Maybe if you put it in a blender, heat it up, that would be absolutely vile. But
oh,
then I would say, okay, that's a soup. But no.
I'm I'm exactly the same. I heard of that from the UK tour of Six, and one of the queens posted on the story because someone asked the question, "Is cereal soup?" and their reactions was just priceless. It was like, no. Are you feeling all right?
I know
honestly,
how I feel right now.
honestly, it's just absolutely crazy.
That's funny. I like that question.
Um, so there you go, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all soon for another video.
Thank you.